Kimraha Huladunya, how is everyone? Feuchamaich ye Olde Scot, the Celtic podcast. On today's show in Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig, that's Let's Try a Little Gaelic, we're in lesson 22, and it's talking about somebody or something drinking and some sayings that go along with drinking. So, today we're going to talk about Kenneth Macalpine and how he, not as popularly claimed, wasn't the first king of Scotland. And we're going to do that in the Celtic history segment. You're going to hear about how there is no genetically pure or original Scot in everyday Celtic ways. And you're going to hear music from Clear, Gaidhlig, Texas, Dougie MacLean, Joy Dunlop, and Danny Carnahan and Robin Petrie. All right. And now, it's a wee bit of Irish trivia to test your knowledge to start us off. Why did unmarried Irish girls place a slice of wedding cake under their pillows at night? All right. Check out the Olde Scot Facebook group, where you can be a part of the Celtic culture, post memes, ideas, tips, even criticisms. Feuchamaich. All right then, let's get started.
Feuchamaich Beagan
right, that was The Open Door by Julie Dunlop. It also goes by a Gaelic name, and Rowan, which means the choice. All right, and now it's time for Let's Try Little Gaelic. Han Tam and Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig. I'm not an authority on the Gaelic language. I just love learning it, and I struggle like most of you guys out there. But I want to help, and I hope what I do helps you out. I teach. What I teach comes from well-respected Gaelic teachers, and I hope you find it interesting, informative, and fun. It's kind of my thing. Now, I always display on the screen when I'm discussing, so you can follow along. And you can pick out the points when my pronunciation is not always up to snuff, but I'm working on that. I'm actually learning how to roll my R's, which is something I didn't think I could ever do, but I got an online speech coach, and he's helped me out a little bit. All right, we're in lesson 22 of that 25-part Gaelic lesson, and it's about somebody or something, some drinking stuff, and some sayings that go along with all that. All right, let's just dive right into the vocabulary then. We got the Gaelic and the English, of course. Ceilidh, which is horse of the party. Surly, which is dating. Sorsha, which is a type, like Jeshorsha Shishu Hakavenju. What type of weather do you have? All right. Chanel le dunya sambi, not with anyone. Dunya sambi, anyone. Cat sambi, any cat. It's kind of how you say any this or any that. All right. Chanel misuri le dunya sambi. I'm not dating anyone. That's a good phrase to keep in handy. Root, which means thing. Root sambi, anything. Rootigan. Rootigan. All right, I don't know. I don't know when to roll my R's, and I won't know when not to. So, and if anybody's got that answered, let me know. Rootigan, somebody. Eacher, at all. All right, gav, take. A gavel, taking. Gav moleshgal. Excuse me. It literally means take my excuse. Jain, which is make or do. A jainiv, making or doing. Jeha'u a jainiv. What are you doing? What are you making? Jok, drink. All right. Ha and jok air. He is drunk, or literally it's the drink is on him. Ha and jok air Rory. Ha and jok air Rory. Rory is drunk. The drink is on Rory. Gashalig gia orst means bless you. That's what you would say for a sneeze. Gashalig gia orst. Or na tog me gus untult me. Don't lift me until I fall. Oh wow. Okay, I guess that means you're really drunk. Nambi ju anje. If only today was yesterday. Vakutiken mochul. Someone was behind me. Charo jok ulum icher. William was not drunk at all. Jeha dovain a jainiv. What is your wife doing? All right. I got you a few sentences here to translate, as always. And we'll begin with number 1. Jeshorsha jok aha'u ageri. 2. Chanel dunya sambi adol amak anish. 3. Charo le dunya sambi. 4. Avelu suri le dunya sambi. 5. Carson nakel usiri le chutiken. 6. Hami ageri yol yan heli le chutiken. Alrighty. That's Feuchamaich Beagan Gaidhlig. I hope you liked it.
Scots wae we Wallace bled, Scots one Bruce has often led. Welcome to your gory bed, or to victory. Now's the day, and now's the hour. See the front, oh battle hour. See approach proud Edward's power, chains and slavery. War will be a traitor knave, war can fill a coward's grave. War say base as be a slave, let him turn and flee. War for Scotland's king and law, freedom's sword will strongly draw. Free man stand, or free man fall, let him follow me. Woes and pains, by your sons in servile chains, we will drain our dearest veins, but they shall be free. Lay the proud usurpers low, tyrants fall in every foe, liberties in every blow, let us do ordain. Scots wae we Wallace bled, Scots one Bruce has often led. Welcome to your gory bed, or to victory. Now's the day, and now's the hour. See the front, oh battle hour. See approach proud Edward's power, chains and slavery.
Alright, that was Scots Wae by Dougie MacLean. And now today on Celtic History Break, we're going to talk about Kenneth Macalpine, how he wasn't, as popularly claimed, the first King of Scotland. Now, Kenneth Macalpine was above all other things a master tactician. He was able to see the political environment that surrounded him and take the appropriate moves to secure his place in history. Now, what Macalpine did in 842 was to take advantage of the Picts, who had been severely weakened militarily by punitive Viking raids, and unite the kingdom of the Gaels with that of Pictavia. And that's just what they called it. In reality, it was the remainder of the surviving tribes of the north, because the Picts actually never called themselves Picts. But while he ruled over the whole of the land of Scotland, north of the River Forth, large parts of the country were still in the hands of the Vikings in the north and in the islands. And in the south, the Anglo-Saxons ruled. So Macalpine was referred to at that time as the King of the Picts, a title conferred on him at his coronation on Moot Hill at Scone in Perthshire in 843 AD. Now, it was not until later, during the reign of Donald II, which is around 889 to 900, that the monarch became known as Alban, King of Alba. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from Kenneth Macalpine. His achievement was to create a long-lasting dynasty that gradually extended the territorial borders of Scotland both north and south. But it was not really until about 1469 that what we know as Scotland today was really established. This was in large part to the feudal clans that populated Scotland at the time and in the Isles, who pushed the boundaries and expanded the territorial borders of Scotland to what we know today. So basically, he created this great kingdom and the clan system, and then the clans expanded from there. All right. That's it for Celtic History Break.
Hook me soon had a vialach, hook me shavel tuam. Viach a feichtin malaman, chinian vales and white. Eating all a gam sech, sa chastig alwach. Smike bonnach gram yache, kobach lach nuam. Bjarke feich genian was us the gruai marenos. Istanel marovan stohu maren thor. Do vel hatcherek tanne spas dem jalit do folk. Good game manach yellow agus lachir and God a having God some big posh jachlani. Good a huasa gahoka leishan all jaffian. It harsten a gimmersht gun bioman gun stri. Good a lover to a wing escalating the ski. Good such spalling it up and a cord. Good boy, ach can walk from me my half grown a gold. Jane and better, Mariana, it and holy your town. I guess a mission, Mariana, it var it and down. Not an achin, not Khanyef, it's Vialin, you live. Lopo, the whole Khwanich, off the man and gal. Sahagoin and all, so long at the town. Bigger Mahi, go to us, go with you on and meow. See good stocking, rock of this sea chown. Stricha wine meditative, sanu
Alright, that was Donald, Donald of the Donalds by Claire. Now it's time for Everyday Celtic Ways. Today we're going to talk about how there is no genetically pure or original Scot. Now, it seems like I'm crushing everybody's preconceived notions about Scotland today, but with the Kenneth Macalpine thing. But with everyone rushing to have their DNA analyzed and to find out how Scottish they are, because you see that popping up on social media all the time. I'm 20% this, or I'm 10% that, I'm 50% this. You should take this information to heart, that there is no common ancestry or genetic heritage that links the peoples of early Scotland. The country was a patchwork quilt of various peoples grouped together in tribes who certainly never thought of themselves as Scottish or Picts. They owed allegiance only to their kith and kin, and then later to the feudal clan system and its chief. However, in the campaigns against Roman imperialism, the early people of the Britain built federations that laid the basis of the future kingdoms. Now, near the end of the 5th century, the Roman Empire began to crumble. The Romans who lived along Hadrian's Wall and in the settled lands south of it began to be recalled to Rome. Now, as support for a Roman Britain waned, many Romans did leave, but some stayed. And since Romans were made up of many nationalities themselves, from the territories that they had conquered over the 1,000 years, who knows what genetic makeup was in their mix. And of course they added that to the people there at the British Isles because they were assimilated. Now, ancient Scotland, who was made up of 4 separate groups. You got the Angles, which were a Germanic tribe, the Britons, the Picts, and the Gaels, or the Scotae, who actually came from Ireland. Now, each spoke a different language. Latin became the common language of the whole country only after the Christianization of Scotland in the 6th century AD. Then there was the whole Scandinavian influence in 794 AD, when a monastery near Lindisfarne in Northumbria was pillaged and looted by what would be known as the Vikings, even though technically it's not their name, but an activity. To go Viking is to actually go raiding. They're actually Scandinavians. They're from Norway or Denmark or Finland. Now, over the next couple hundred years of visiting Britain, the Scandinavians began staying in the much more fertile lands there, and in Ireland as well, adding to the already mixed up stew of peoples. So then, now you have the Saxons, the Germanic tribes, and the Normans, the French, and the French Gauls, and even to an extent, an exotic genetic makeup from numerous slaves that were brought from Africa or by Iberia, the Middle East, etc. I mean, while it was fun to call yourself Scottish, you should not define yourself by a nationality, because it is the lands and the highlands and islands that are so beautiful, so awe-inspiring, and memorable that cause us to love Scotland so much, so deeply. So it's really the land that is, not so much the people. I mean, anybody can occupy these lands and be Scottish. I don't know if you've been in any of the Scottish cities lately, but there's a very good hodgepodge of nationalities walking around. So I consider myself Scottish as well, but I have no want or need to have my DNA analyzed to find out exactly how much. As far as I'm concerned, my grandparents told me I was, my parents told me I was, and that's all I need to know. All right, that's it for Everyday Celtic Ways.
Iskaf sulgavatu no tu en gran taon shnata gofrasa faven trai dolur buitacha stovelin sau jur hagiv merini shianyelanen waring yelish dot moerwan favruan kladi svaven trai magen wara mon waringard shur hagiv merini shianyelanen Tamisha Tersha agus vegula Moara vrunial smo poadrek buan warna tonta svaven trai Shur hagiv merini shianyelanen
All right, that was Vajan Vara, the Sea Maiden, or the Mermaid, by Gaidhlig, Texas. And that's by a good friend of mine's group there in Texas. They do a lot of Portia Bale, and which is mouth music. Doesn't have a whole lot of accompany to it, if sometimes not at all. So that way you get to feel the real voice of the language. I like that. It was really cool. Now, that's it for today's show. I hope you liked it. Trying to keep it interesting, informative, and fun while showing you the beauty of all things Celtic, just like that song. Top Leva Herichin. Now, before I let you go, the trivia question answer. Unmarried Irish girls would place a slice of wedding cake under their pillows at night in the hope that they would dream of their future husband. All right. Nothing like just getting out there and finding a man. All right. Remember to check out my YouTube channel, Olde Scot. It's got Learn a Gaelic song videos, Celtic podcast videos, speaking our language videos, Celtic movies and music, and more. And my Facebook group, of course, Ye Olde Scot, where you can give me your insights and input on all things Celtic. Come on over to Facebook and be a member of the group. Be a part of it. All right. Martian Leave and Drozda, bye for now. But I'm going to let you go with a song, and it's Breton Dances by Danny Carnahan and Robin Petrie.